we may not even know we're in it, but when we're in victim mode, we are looking for attention or affection that maybe we didn't get in childhood. Maybe it wasn't available to us. Maybe there was a sibling that was the favorite. It happens. You know it happens. And there tends to be a conditioning that happens where either emotions weren't allowed in the house or you were told to not have them. Like what my father used to say to me, I'll give you something to cry about when I was already crying. And so the worst clock cleaning I ever got was when I said, I clearly already have something to cry about. Oh, the mouth gets me in trouble sometimes. It used to. Now there's more of a filter. Hi, welcome back. Thank you for being here so we can use my intuition to help you release the self-doubt, to embrace life, to really experience the joy of being human, of being a soul in a human body, and getting to play around and do all of that stuff. This week, I want to talk about something that it did profoundly affect me, and I have permission to talk about it, so I'm going to share. I was working with a longtime client, and we were talking about her tendency to slide into victim mode. Listen, we all have it. We all do it. It's one of the main saboteurs in our little wiring, and it's okay. It's been demonized and it's been, no, it's just been, people can be mean about it, right? Like, they'll be like, you're such a victim when you're actually going through something terrible. And I have said before, we are a victim of the circumstance or the event or maybe somebody else's actions. But if we continue to stay in it, we are activating victim mode. So there's a difference for me, and maybe this is splitting hairs. I don't know, but this is how I feel, that there's a difference between being a true victim that happens absolutely, unfortunately, every day in our world, and being in victim mode. So what I'm talking about is victim mode, okay? I would never say the things that I'm going to tell you that we talked about with someone in a full-on moment where they're actually a victim, okay? Not gonna do that. This is someone that I have an established rapport with. I adore her. I adore all my clients. I don't take on the ones I won't adore. A little background info there. But I adore working with her because my ability to be clear, concise, direct is why my clients do so well and why they shift through past traumas or limiting belief systems is because I'll come with all my heart. But there may also be in our session a direct, what are you doing there? What's that? Because placating serves no one. So we were talking about her being in victim mode. It was very empathic to how that may feel when you're saying that to someone. If I'm not in empathy, I'm going to actually activate victim mode, right? Because when we're in victim mode, a little bit about it, we may not even know we're in it, but when we're in victim mode, we are looking for attention or affection that maybe we didn't get in childhood. Maybe it wasn't available to us. Maybe there was a sibling that was the favorite. It happens. You know it happens. And there tends to be a conditioning that happens where either like emotions weren't allowed in the house or you were told to not have them. Like what my father used to say to me, I'll give you something to cry about when I was already crying. And so the worst clock cleaning I ever got was when I said, I clearly already have something to cry about. Oh, the mouth gets me in trouble sometimes. It used to. Now there's more of a filter. So because my pain and my victim isn't speaking out, right? Like it's not in charge anymore. It used to be. And when we're in victim mode, it's often because there's a true experience of having not received affection or attention in the way we want it to do. Now, I am not talking about those that are manipulative or that may have narcissism to the extreme. We all have a little bit of it, got a little spice of it in there. But I'm talking about where it was genuinely withheld or manipulated. Our emotions were manipulated. So I was speaking with her, and this is an ongoing conversation. This is not the first time I've said it, but often that's what is necessary for us. And please be kind to yourself because that is what's necessary. You may not get it on the first time. You may not get it on the 1000th time. It's the thousands and one. That's not easy to say. The 1001 where you're like, oh, and it just sinks in. And this particular client has said to me, why are you so patient with me? This is the reason, because I know eventually it's going to sink in to those who keep showing up. It just always does. If you keep showing up trying to understand who you are and how you're wired, you will get you at some point. So in the victim mode, we can withdraw, we can pout, sulk. Oh, I was married to a sulker for 27 years. I wish I knew about this stuff before then, because the pleaser in me used to take over, right? And the hyperachiever in me used to take over and be like, I can fix this. I can make this okay for everybody. I'll get it. I'll just work harder. I'll just do something else, right? So the sulkers, those who pout or sulk, are already entered into victim mode, which means they've been sabotaged and they've been kidnapped or hijacked into their left brain, and their right brain of navigation or empathy for themselves, but rather than victimhood, is just not there. It's not activated. So if you listen to the previous episode where I talked about positive intelligence by Shirzad Shamin and his team, that's actually fun to say. I had talked about how we can shift from the left brain to the right brain and activate these places within us to understand that, oh, I don't need to be in victim anymore. So that's the role I'm playing. I'm holding the space of her right brain in empathy, true empathy for what she's going through, but also as the coach, kind of shifting it and having her access the place that I know exists in her because I see it on other occasions, and to understand that, oh, this is what's happening. I'm sliding into victim mode. So we're not judging it. We're just naming the fact that this is what's happening. And the poor me was big. The poor me was up there with a really big P. Like, these things only happen to me. And it's like, well, statistically, that's not true. Because as humans, we've gone through things. One of the things we talked about was she needed to do some home repairs. And, it's not my session. I don't need to talk about myself. However, I have found that, like, having that role model or having it modeled back to you that you're not the only one is actually a good thing. It helps to support people. And we have a rapport. So I started laughing and I said, so you bought a house, you own a house. These things come with owning a house. Like, sometimes it's just relax. These things happen. Are they great? No. And are they fun to deal with? Also, no. But when you stay in that place of soul energy or sage information, you don't wind into your victim self. You become a little bit more matter of fact, right? And when she was talking about, yeah, but I have to do this. Yeah, but I have to do this. And I started laughing and I said, I'm an open book. I'll tell you anything about my life, share anything about my life. If it'll help you. I have no secrets, so it's fine. So I said to her, so in the last week alone, our garage door opener out, just mine, not Mike's, just mine, that went, the basement was in that session. I knew after that session, I had to go downstairs and vacuum up water out of my basement because it was flooding, right? But I'm not going to tell her that. I'm not going to lead into a session with, oh, guess what happened to me, right? I knew I had to go do that, right? And then there were a few other things. I can't remember what they were. They're not important. But I said to her, we own a home. This is what happens. So if you can get excited about these things happening, it's not a roof. It's not a really big thing. You have every right in that moment when that's going on to have a half an hour of, oh shit moment. But the more you condition your brain to go into, like conscious action or support of yourself, this is the conscious circuitry that I do. They, your brain auto responds there because as an entity, we are created to go to problems to look out for that saber-tooth tiger. But we don't really need that much as much as that anymore. We need to shift over into this right brain. So I'm talking to her about the trap of self-blame, self-pity. It's very disempowering. It takes your life force energy away. Vitality just drains right out of you. And you will be depressed, apathetic, exhausted, because it's a lot of work to stay mad about a situation or to continue to blame other people or to think it only happens to me. That is a lot of extra effort. I said to my former mother-in-law one time, "Are you tired of being miserable? Reached that point yet?" And she was perplexed that I would actually consider it something that could be tiring, because to me, it felt like I was carrying this bag around, and I had empathy for her for about 20 years. I ran out after that. After that, I was like, no, you want to be miserable. This is fulfilling something for you. And that's the exact key. Like our brain, as beautiful as it is and amazing as it is, it's basically a yes machine. So what you put in, it spits out. So what you pay attention to, it gives you back. So if you're paying attention to what's going wrong, you are going to get more of that. Call it manifesting, call it is what it is. It's just going to happen because your filter is that. And so I said to her, is there another way that we can look at this? Because it feels like you are recreating a system that no longer exists in your life. She is no longer in the relationships or the life pattern or the time decades ago that the very poor me, life sucks might have been applicable. Okay. But she's out of that. And I have been saying this to her over and over again until I got blunt and said, it sounds like your victim is in charge. Can we shift that? Can you understand that this is just something your brain's doing? You're not bad. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing anything wrong by being happy about where your life is right now. That was a big one. And being able to identify the victim mode and shift and catalyze like your own transformation. No matter how good your therapist is, how good your coach is, how lovely your partner is, no one can do this for you. You have to do that for you. And you know why? Because then you get to feel really good about yourself. And then you get to feel lit up. And then you get to string together the patterns of feeling uplifted and joyful. And I know it's freaking hard. I bump into my saboteurs probably about 5 or 6 times a day. Used to be a lot more. 5 or 6 times a day, I'm looking at it and going, Vicky, you are not the victim in this situation. Your name may start with Vic, and people call you Vic, but you're not the victim. Mine showed up, especially right after Howard passed, my late husband, for those of us joining us for the first time. And I mean, I was a full-fledged adult. I was 46. I could handle this. And yet, I used to go into complete victim mode around having to take the garbage out. Now, he was ill for quite a while before this. Good days, not good days. He wasn't always attentive to the garbage. I often took the garbage out. I was the one that wheeled it to the front to be picked up. And I'm like, well, was I in victim mode then? No, I was pissed that I had to do all of that stuff. But once he passed, victim slid right in there. Why? There was no more affection. There was nothing else that I was receiving. Like when he was alive, he was a very affectionate guy. Like I was receiving that, and it almost tempered my victim saboteur, right? I didn't go there. Now, some may say, Vicky, your husband just passed, truly my best friend of and together 27 years, you have every right to be victim, to feel victim. No, I don't. I have every right to be sad. I have every right to grieve. I have every right to be mad. I don't have any right to be living in victimhood after the event has happened. And the event didn't happen to me. It happened around me. It was his soul experience. So understanding that and having done some of this work beforehand, it allowed me to travel through any circumstance that's going on. Am I going to slide in there for a little bit? Yes. I'm human. You're human. You're going to revisit any type of negative situation in your head for a period. But how long are you going to sit in that shit? Like, how long are you going to do that? It's not about avoiding emotions. So when I said to her, it feels like you are recreating a system that you no longer exist in, there was this pause. Silence. Luckily, we're on video. Even if we weren't on video, I would have allowed the silence because you have to allow space for people to absorb. And she's like, how do you do that? And I'm like, it's years of practice, but I don't really know. It's my heart speaks, and it's the statement that the person needs to hear. Does that make sense? And it opened the door. And then we could create the plan and we could activate something. We could get creative, but we could create the plan that when this stuff comes up, because you can feel it in your body when it comes up, if you're connected to your body. If you're out of your body, that could be difficult, but she's very connected with her body, sometimes too much. And I've said that to her before. You need to stop paying attention to every little ache, because every little ache will become a big ache when you really pay attention to it. Be mindful, be caring for your body, but don't take it to extremes, right? So I wonder if you understand that awareness is like our first step to liberation. It's like when you shine a light on any type of negative thought process or pattern, what maybe you ask, is it true? Maybe it's something where you are willing to look at it and see it separate from yourself so that you can dissect it a little bit. You can get curious about it. I love getting curious. The soul is so curious. It's like curious little monkey, just wants to understand and learn about as much as it can. But I wonder if you know that awareness is the first step to liberation. Action is not. Awareness is. And then you maybe acclimate, you understand it, you ask questions. We can do action later. You don't need to do action initially. You just want to understand and explore a little bit so that you could become empowered with the fact that you know this about yourself now. So the victim place with social media can be very intoxicating. It can also be a way that people are pulling in big bucks because they're showing up in their victim self and your mirror neurons are activated. And you're like, that's right. I've had times where I felt like a victim too. Let me support this story. Let me get behind this and even defend. Have you ever seen that where somebody's coming in and they're like, they deserve to feel this way. You deserve to feel every way you want to feel because they're your feelings. But be mindful of the fact that your victim self can be activated by another person's victim self. Mirror neurons in your brain, science, it's fun. So the awareness that it's happening is where you can pause it and say, okay, but I don't want to join this. I don't even want to join myself in it. Like I have said to myself, Victoria, that is not attractive. That is not attractive at all. And I'm the only one in the room. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's not attractive to myself. So I invite you to reflect on the narratives that you've been telling yourself and how your story of victimhood may be activated or maybe something that's running as, closed captioning underneath. Because once you shift through this and you recognize that this is actually a story, and I may be recreating a system that no longer exists, you can get inspired. Like you can feel like, well, that seems silly. Don't know that I want to keep doing that. And you can shift and you can be like, well, what's my first step? Well, my first step is to be kind to myself and say, yeah, I can absolutely understand where this is coming from. I can absolutely understand it. But that's not okay anymore because now I have awareness about it. And have you ever experienced this where you're like, it's fine, there's no big deal, but there's a voice back there. Once you become aware of it, that voice is going to keep speaking. You may as well turn to it and say, what? What you got? What would you like to learn? And if you get caught up in your victim statement and in your victimhood, because you're safe, you're good, this is no longer going on, especially if you're talking about childhood, go to empathy for yourself, go to empathy for your parents. That's how I shifted a lot of my resentment was I'm like, let me just have empathy. I'm not going to ever excuse the abuse or the apathy that I grew up in, but I don't need to hold my parents as the bad guys anymore, right? So this is the goal, to be in a place where you understand, you have empathy for what another might have been going through, and especially in the experience of abuse of any type, we're not condoning that. We're not saying it's okay. The action isn't okay. I'm not even saying you have to forgive the person. I just want you to unhook from the victimhood that you may be spinning around in. Okay. And maybe it doesn't show up often for you, but when it does, there'll be a little inkling after listening to this that maybe that's where it is. And I don't want to live like that. So rewiring these belief systems, doing conscious circuitry, using positive intelligence, doing tapping, doing EFT, going to therapy, however you get there is fine. It's absolutely fine. Understanding the neuroplasticity of your brain, first step. Recognizing that you have the power to shift it, second step. Taking action, third step. Okay, so the amount of shifting that's happening in people by recognizing this and then they get to help other people is phenomenal. You want to break free from the victim mode. It is like unhooking etheric cords even. Like I've had people come to me who say, I have lifetimes of pain that I'm carrying in this lifetime that's keeping me from showing up and doing, and being who I really want to be. Respectfully, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Somebody told you and you believed it, activated the victimhood within you. Now, do you have a phobia you can't explain? You're like, I don't know why. I actually think spiders are kind of cute, but they freak me the hell out. Yeah, there could be an experience that's staying in your energy field. Don't become the victim of that story, or ancestral pain. You're not carrying ancestral pain. Now, you may be carrying feeling within yourself that you would like to help shift the effect that your ancestors had on the planet, right? It's a big one for me. You may want to understand how you cannot be like said ancestors, but carrying their pain is another way to stay trapped in the pain. And it's another way to justify boohoo syndrome. That's what we're going to call it. That's what I'm calling it now. So just look at it and say, is that true? Is that true? Where's the truth in it? Can I shift it? And how many ways can I come up with that I can help myself to extricate from victimhood into a place of victor, or innovator or producer or system changer, right? Like use your powers for good. Mothers Against Driving Drunk, every fundraiser out there for domestic abuse because someone has been through it. Animal rights activists because they see the pain, they feel the pain themselves, sometimes too much, and they don't want another one hurt. Well, that's a way to activate and not be in victimhood. I don't want you to blame yourself when it comes up. If you've got the poor me's, if you feel like you're temperamental or dramatic, you want to crumble and give up, not talking depression here, I'm talking the other kind, okay? So you get so mad, you're so tired of the way things are. Well, if you experience any of that, I don't want you to blame yourself, but I do want you to take a moment and do this as many times as you need to. And you're going to get in your body. You're going to picture going from your left brain to your right brain. I had the funniest visual of this being a comb over, like when guys are balding and they don't want to admit they're balding, and because balding is beautiful, they do that comb over thing. I had this image one day when I was having a moment, and I'm like, I'm just going to do a comb over. I'm going to get the energy that seems to be stuck over here, velcroed over here, and slide it over to my right brain side so that I can take some action. Now, the action happened to be that day making a cup of tea and being only paying attention to making tea, because your brain will shift. It's not about avoiding at that point. You want to shift out of the victimhood. I'm so inspired by my client and her willingness to go there with me, to trust me enough to know I'm not judging her at all. I am hopefully holding that space so that she can shift and not live one foot in a system that no longer exists and one foot in the life that she would like to live, but she can't live this life because she's paying too much attention to that life. It's like, pay attention to this life. What's right in front of you? Get so focused on your food that you're eating. Get so focused on the walk that you're taking so that your brain shifts into your right side, into your soul self, into the knowing that everything really is okay. I want to encourage you to remember that you have the ability to shift your story, to create a life that really aligns with your deepest desires, even if you don't know what they are yet. That's fine. That's the exciting part. And that you recognize the empowerment you have, but that you also do the work, because no one can do it for you. So I believe in you. I need you to believe in you, and just be aware of victim mode. And when it comes up, say, no, thank you. Maybe name yours and shift out of it. Until next time, keep loving yourself. Keep showing others that you love them. Practice empathy. Enjoy, hopefully, spring weather. It's still snowing here. When I'm recording this, it's still snowing here. And I'll see you on all the socials. Vicki Baird Coaching, right here on YouTube, and maybe out in the wild too. Take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I appreciate you being here. If you would like more information about developing your intuitive skills, removing those blocks, and creating the life that feels the most successful to you, then head on over to vickibaird.com. That's VICKIBAIRD.com. And check out the courses, the groups, and the Spaces app that will allow you to be part of our community and know about upcoming events and specials. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.